We are headed out to the ranch, guys. Kind of a dingy, not a trail in the sky. We don't see any trails in the sky, not one. But you know, I kind of touched on the probably on the Plow Brothers channel, but I touched on the the dinginess, like the Sahara Desert dust. I had never heard of that. Like some people commented and said, I even got a phone call about it, but I guess that's a thing. I never knew. But all these metals and all these things, that's this aerosol injection or whatever the heck it is, you know, who really knows? I mean, there's so much information out there. You have to discern it. You know, you got to use your discernment. That's why, you know, I talk about reality and, you know, why I believe in flat earth, you know, and people freak out when I talk about flat earth, but you know, water's flat, man, and you put water in a cup and you turn it sideways and the water stays level. And so that's really what did it for me when I first started digging into all this and trying to find out, you know, have we been lied to about all this stuff? Is space real? Is space fake? Is it, you know? And then that sent me on a spiritual journey with God, and now I am very spiritual, I would say. I don't, like I said before, I don't consider myself any like exact religion, but you know, when I do pray, I always do pray in Jesus' name, and I do pray every day. I never, hardly, once in a while, you know, I don't do it, but I have a routine that I do in the morning. You know, I get up really early. Usually I'm up around 4 o'clock in the morning every day. My mind is always racing, so that's something that I can't stop. So I've learned how to manage it by just, you know, waking up, and I start with my routine. I stick to my routine. The same routine I do here in Bakersfield is the same exact routine I do in Mammoth. And I sit in my hot tub every day. We're actually going to be getting a sauna here in Bakersfield first, as we're getting one soon, and then I'm gonna get one for the house in Mammoth also. But and I'm gonna add that to my routine because I feel like the sauna is a good detox, and you know, cutting out the alcohol. Very rarely do I drink anymore. I used to drink a lot, and you know, that was very detrimental to my health, to my relationships, both personal relationships and business. And, you know, when I finally got my dumb head wrapped around it, that, you know, a lot of what was holding me back in life was the alcohol. You know, things started turning around. I can't, you know, imagine that, you know, they started turning around. But yeah, the alcohol, just not a good thing. And, you know, when I first started doing this deep dive on, you know, I call it waking up. That's what a lot of people call it, waking up. And, you know, before 2020, I don't think hardly anybody was awake. And now it seems like it's just a growing movement of people that are waking up to the lies. And a lot of people are like, well, why would they lie? Why did they do it? And honestly, I don't have an answer for you, but what I do know is that they are lying. And I wholly believe, you know, the earth is flat, and I believe the sun and the moon, they are local. The stars are, you know, luminaries. They're not all, you know, trillions of miles away or billions of miles away, and the sun's not 93 billion miles away either. And the sun and the moon are, you know, the same size, and they revolve around us. And, you know, if you start looking at some of the old teachings, what people believed way back when, that's what they thought. And so I go back to that because I feel like everything has been fabricated. A lot of history has been fabricated. And, to get back to the reason why they do it is, or why whoever they are, I don't know who they are, but why they do it, well, you and I we're a monetized being, and we're part of a monetized system. So, when you're born, you get a birth certificate, and that certificate basically places a value on your life. And that's how the government is able to get, all the trillions of dollars in debt, is because everyone that's born has a life expectancy and a monetary value throughout that life expectancy that is placed on them when they're born. And then, the government can say, they can do calculations. It's math. It's real simple math. It's like, this guy's going to live for, average human being is going to live for, 60 years, whatever that is, and they're going to say he's, out of all these humans, 70% of them are going to, make this much money. And then, 10% are going to make this much money, and on so forth. You get the idea, right? And then taxes. So this guy's going to pay this much taxes, this guy's going to own this much assets, and it's all percentage based. And that's where you get the calculations to go borrow more money and spend it on things that have nothing to do with humanity here in the United States or wherever you're at. So it's a system, and whoever they are controlling it, and they are lying to everyone, and that's the bottom line. I don't care what anybody says. They are lying about science. They are lying about climate. They are lying about everything. And, the sad part is collectively all of the population is kind of so dumbed down that they are stuck allowing this to happen. And I'm guilty of it. Everyone's guilty of it. We don't know what to do. Like, what are you gonna do? You gonna gather up and build an army like Game of Thrones, and then take over the government? No, you're not going to do that, because they spent your money, and they've built an industrial military complex that it doesn't matter how many people that you got together, they would squash you in an instant. They've got underground bunkers, they've got all this stuff. People are going to go, oh, that's conspiracy. That no, they do. They have these elite people that are controlling everything, have protection measures in place, and they are they're just hoping to make it through when everybody, I think, goes crazy. And politics left or right, they're garbage. They are just like the divorce attorneys. The Republicans and the Democrats they're good friends. Elon Musk and Trump are good friends, but they're acting like they're enemies right now, and it's all a show. And once you like completely understand that, then and only then some of this stuff starts making sense. It starts resonating. And I can tell you, like, you do have intuition. So if you think something like that is going on, you can bet that it likely is. And anyways, I'm really long-winded this morning. I had probably too much coffee, but I'm glad I got all that out, and I want to share, my opinions, my beliefs. Hey, you don't have to believe what I believe. You don't have to think like I think, but it works for me, and it gets me through this life and through the day-by-day grind that we do. And it's what brings, contentment into my being and my life. So I share it. And as some people tell me I shouldn't share it, or like I'm trying to get views. I'm not trying to get views. You can see what kind of views I got on my channel, and it's not anything crazy. I'm just I started this journey with YouTube, and I have an audience, and I've always been the type that I actually wanted to be in the movies, a long time ago. Like when I was asleep, I would call it, I wanted to be in the movies. I wanted to be an actor. I thought that was actually a possibility. But the more and more I realized, you're born into that kind of stuff, and the handlers that control all of that, you don't just get there with talent. Talent's not going to get you there. It's you got to be at the right place at the right time. And I mean, to be honest, I'm very thankful that I never got there, because it would have been horrible, especially seeing the stories that come out about how these celebrities that are essentially they're worshipped by all these different people, these music people and these actors. And now, like, I look at all this stuff and it's just a joke, like all of it. Like I can't believe people put any weight on anything these people say, their opinions or anything. They're literally, I'm talking football players, baseball players, actors, musicians. Now, being a musician is cool. It's I think it's a passion that you do, and for your music, but that's what you do it for. You're not doing it for, so you can give public opinion, and that's what everything's turned into. And so it's really a joke, but I'm going to get off of it, and we're going to get out to the ranch and look at some fun stuff. It's already 78 degrees. We don't have a lot of time. It's going to get hot, so we're going to get out there and dally around for a bit and then get out of there. Making our way out to the rancho. Gates open. So we got some guys here. I think they're gonna have a big looks like a big party out here today. Birthday party. Our neighbor. And he owns this 80 right here that hopefully he's gonna sell it to me, and I'll have more land. But we're good neighbors. We do a lot of trading back and forth. That's my feeder right there for his horses. We've helped him build his little structures here and stuff like that. We're good neighbors. I figured either he'll buy me out or I'll buy him out at some point. We'll see how it goes. But they like to spend a lot of time out here, so that's cool. There's always somebody out here. That's the cool thing. That's a new development. Boy, that's a lot of pipe. That's some big heavy wall pipe. You could make a lot of stuff with that. And it's already out here. I love it. I love it. That'd be cool. I had to make a deal on some of that pipe. I know he's not going to use all that. You can see everything's brown. The green is gone. Motocross track looks good. Looking good. Once I get water to this thing, that's going to be quite the ordeal, but when I get water to it, this is going to be, we'll be able to use it. Weather, we're not going to come out here when it's 100 degrees, but we won't have to rely on the rain for our riding days, and that'll be fun. It's just another hobby that it needs more attention. But you're driving me nuts. Yeah, I was hoping we'd get another little, not anything crazy with the rain. I was gonna work it a little bit more with the dozer. That's why I left it parked right there. And it's been there for a couple months. It's been sitting right there. And that's my disc, my track disc. And I got a roller that goes behind it. You can see that. And it really preps this track really nice. And this track's a lot of fun on a motorcycle. It's about 1.7 miles to do a lap. So it's a pretty good sized track. It's not a baby track. It's a big track. So I'm looking at these tracks here because Clayton had a mishap yesterday with that trailer. And you can see he got close to the fence, but what happened was he was coming around that turn right there. And he turned the trailer too tight, and the front wheel of the trailer grabbed the bumper on the back of the truck and tweaked it a little bit. So that's going to be going against my equity towards my trade. I'm not real happy about it, but I'm going to have to buy a bumper for the Dodge because it got tweaked. The bumper got tweaked. So it's been about a month, I think, since I've been out here. I just don't have the time, guys. Sometimes I want to just sell everything and go into hiding. You ever get that feeling where you just want to just sell all your stuff and get a little tiny cabin in the woods with a battery system and a solar system, and then just go off grid? Maybe I'll do that eventually. And then if I get the business running good enough to where the guys could run it on their own, like that would ever happen, I will just live in my little cabin in the woods and hunt and fish. And Lori and I will just make our own clothes, and we won't have a TV. Imagine that, not having a TV. Imagine that. I couldn't imagine not having a phone, that's for sure, but sure would be nice. All right, let's talk about some of this equipment here. Let me bore you with that. So you see the numbers on this? That is from the Air Pollution Control Board, and they are going to give me a credit for this tractor. So this was my track. This was for the track. I don't like using that dozer to maintain the track because it's, like I said, it's over a mile and a half. And every lap that you go around that track with that dozer is a mile and a half of wear and tear put on those tracks. So I like to use the dozer just for making jumps or pushing stuff, leveling lots, things like that. And I don't want to use it to do laps around this track. But this tractor, it kind of gave up on us. It still runs great, but it needs a clutch. I used to pull the disc with that all. That's how I built the track. I built the track with this tractor and ended up tearing up the clutch on it. But they're going to give me a credit on this thing, and so I can go buy a brand new tractor It's like going to be about 80 grand for the brand new one, but I get a substantial credit towards it by turning this one in. So I was able to get this one approved, and I was gonna sell this dozer. I have several people wanting to buy it, but they approved this one too. So, and I can sell this dozer for 10 grand, or I can get the credit, which is gonna be closer to like 30. It might even be more than that, but see, it's got the number 2 on it. So these two have been approved, and they are going to, as soon as I get my check, I'm gonna go buy. That's the catch though. I have to buy 2 pieces of equipment. So I get a substantial credit for this and a substantial credit for that. But I've got to buy 2 new pieces of equipment. So we're probably gonna get a skid steer, and we're going to get a 75 or a 95 horsepower 4-wheel drive farm tractor with a fully enclosed cab, air conditioning, everything. And we're gonna get these credits put towards that. So I'm pumped about that. We've already been working on this for over a year, and it's gonna take like another year before it's finalized. But I just think that's a great program, and I'm very blessed to have been able to be a part of that. And that's one of the things, with the government in California and all the crazy things they do. Sometimes you can benefit from it, right? So, you're playing chess here, not checkers. You don't agree with anything they do, but when they have a program that benefits you, you sign up for it and see if you can utilize it to your benefit. And that's what we've done there. And I think we're in really good shape for doing it. So these are septic tanks. I hadn't put much thought into these because I thought they were too small, but honestly they're big enough. They are big enough to do it, which would mean that hole that I dug, I gotta fill that hole way back in. Guys, I thought about these for the trade, and I'm gonna send him a picture of it. What do you got? You got a bone. You guys finding all these bones? Somebody brought these up here. Those weren't up here. Here's my it's not a double drop, but it's this is a nice low boy. It looks rough around the edges, but it needs a deck. Hydraulics and winch are in good shape. This one actually sits I want to say probably close to a foot lower than our other trailer. It's a little bit shorter though, it's not quite as long. My plan is to I'm gonna paint it, put a deck on it, and probably keep it. It's kind of in the holding pattern out here with many of these other things. This Ford, that's an old 7.3, and that belonged to Brent, and he sold it to me for I think I gave him $2,800 for it. It needs some work on the engine, but it's got that bed. Look at that bed. It needs a tailgate. Definitely needs a tailgate. That's an awesome bed. Those custom beds are, crazy expensive. And the interior is pretty good. It's a driver. And I'll show you what I have, but I have another 7.3 engine. This is my old tow truck that's seen way better days. And the thing runs, the bed works great, everything works on it. It's a cool truck. It doesn't have really good brakes. That's one thing kind of detrimental to it, but I've found these other cabin chassis. Typically you can get a cabin chassis for pretty cheap. And that was always my plan, was to just find another cabin chassis for it and swap out the beds. But an alternative plan is going to be take this bed and possibly put on the old fire truck over there. Or I have another, I have a C40. It's either a C40 or a C60 that's a truck like this. You know, it's a long kind of bobtail looking truck. And it's got a really good, cool patina to it. Never shown you guys that truck. It's actually at the local high school, at their auto shop. And they put a 350 with a turbo transmission and headers and everything on. It's a really cool, like a shop truck. They did put a motor. I mean, it's a runner. It's a cab with a frame, a really cool looking cab, and it's got the frame. And so I was gonna make like an old school tow truck. So I have the bed to do it with. It's a matter of, will I do it? Will I do it? So I see what happened here with this. When he made that sharp turn, that's a pretty short tongue. It's a very short tongue. And these wheels turn on this trailer. So what happened was he turned too sharp and his corner of his bumper got into the wheel. And it grabbed the bumper and peeled it up a little bit. So that's that. Okay. We've been talking to a couple friends because there's a parade in Mammoth. They have a parade and they've tried me to, I've been asked to do it multiple times by all, you know, lots of different people. Why don't you do the parade? Why don't you do the parade? And I thought, well, I'd love to do the parade, but I don't really have, like, we're not set up for parades, you know, and that's a lot to, you know, I don't know. But this right here, now, hear me out. You can see all the stuff I got. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm hoarder 2.0. I know it's shameful. And I'm kind of at a point where, you know, I would almost need to hire a full-time employee just to sell all this stuff. And then you'd have to do the math and see, are you sustaining your employee by selling all the, I guarantee you, if I was able to sell it all, there's definitely a couple $100,000 laying around here. You know, I just got trucks everywhere. This is my old, this was a fire truck. This thing's 4-wheel drive. I think it's got like 35 or 40,000 original miles on it. It's got a sweet look to it. Big heavy duty axles. A huge gas engine in it, which I think I'd keep it all original with the original engine, everything. Put the tow truck bed on this and pull the float. We're definitely not going to make it for this July, but we put the rollback bed here on this thing, and then we put the military trailer behind it. Maybe we find some tires that, because this is going to need tires. Maybe we find a tread pattern that's kind of similar to that, and wouldn't that be just a cool parade float, wouldn't it? Like I have all this time to be doing a parade float. You see my old water buffalo down there. We're gonna take that up to Mammoth. It's about time for that. The old Hyundai here. She's a runner, and I've got that 7.3 is right back there. Let's go back there, because we had a couple different ideas for the 7.3 platform, because it's a great platform, right? So it's got a 7.3 in it. It's I think that's a 2000 model truck. But this is the truck I was going to show you. So this is the 7.3 platform here. It's got a good running engine and transmission. What about putting a 7.3 in this? Isn't this a cool truck? It's a 57. I think it's a 57. The hood's been modified. It actually opens back that way. I don't really care for that, but that's what the guy did to it. It's got a newer undercarriage, like a 70s, late 70s straight axle. It's a stick shift. It's a 5-speed. So I would definitely want to, if I was going to put the 7.3, I'd have to find a transmission that would work for that. To put I want a 5-speed in this thing for sure. But I just think that this would be a beautiful truck to do, and I love the way it sits. It's got the boggers on it, and I mean, even this pulling that float that'd be super cool. And as you can see, I've got tanks, I got pipe, I got this truck over here. This we put that bed on it, and we thought we were gonna need it for work, and there it sits. And that was a donor truck from Sierra Solar. It's a good running truck. It's 4-wheel drive, but it's full of wood, and it's kind of ugly, so nobody wants to drive it. This one here, I bought this from these guys, Sierra Paint and Drywall. He sold me this truck for $500. It's a dump bed. It's actually a dump truck. And when we were first in Mammoth years ago, we ran this thing. We ran the wheels off this thing for several years, and I paid $500 for it, and it ran when I got it. I did very little to it. I tagged it, put insurance on it, and we drove it. Unfortunately, one time, one of my guys, it was Ed actually, was driving it, and it had a backfire through the carburetor, and it was leaking fuel, a little bit of fuel on the top of the engine, and it caught on fire right in the middle of the intersection, and it was like you couldn't get it put out, and it didn't hurt it too bad. I mean, you could see, but we had every cop and every firefighter in town right in front of the brewery up there by where the Limelight's at. And we had everybody in town there watching the fire department try to put this truck out in the middle of the intersection, literally right in the middle. Quite embarrassing, especially in Mammoth, because everybody knows everybody. They knew exactly who it was, and they knew. I'm sure a lot of people were like, those dummies, I can't believe they've been driving that thing around and blah, blah, blah. And see, they get what they get. You know, they're trying to run around a piece of junk truck. But at the end of the day, that truck did me a solid. At $500, we got thousands of dollars worth of value from it. These have diesels in them, both of them. One's got a Cat, one's got a Detroit. They both run, but they're just, you know, they're ugly, and, you know, you don't show up to a job site with something like this unless you want to get laughed off the job. This is my old Willys. I've had this for 20 years, over 20 years. I've actually had this since around 2003. And I've had a lot of good times in this thing. We used to actually, this before the Rangers and all the Polaris, this was what you took out, and you went, you know, out in the hills and just playing around. You know, this is what you did. And I can't hardly let it go. You know, I don't want to let it go, but at some point You got to just start making moves. That's an Allison transmission connected to a 8-liter gas Chevy engine. I mean, we've got hoses. I've got 500 foot of hose there, water hose. I've got conduit. I've got yard tools. There's another mower. That's the one I ran over with the excavator. You can see I've crunched the top all up, so that'll be one that I'm gonna sell. It works. It still works fine. It's just ugly. And here is a winch for the lowboy trailer. This is a spare winch, and this one I'm going to bolt up to the trailer we have in Mammoth, because that winch took a dump. So I got that one. We just haven't got it on yet. I got a nice rack, but we'll definitely use that someday for something. So I'm not getting rid of that. There's another cool trailer. I like these little trailers. I don't know why. I got that at an auction. I paid like $200 for it. Problem is, the tires alone, to put 4 tires on it, is like $400 or $500. So there you have it. A lot of these things, yeah, this is like somebody need to borrow some money or do this or do that, and I'm like, okay, well, what do you got? And I got these. The guy needed money. I was like, yeah, I'll give you $600 for them. I got 4 of them with tires, nice rims. I don't really care for them, but somebody wants to make their truck look fancy. They work pretty good for that. Okay, well, probably bored you enough. We'll go look at a couple of the spoils over here. We looked at the trailer already, but we'll take a gander at a few more things, and then it's getting hot, so it's time to pack it up. Okay, well, here you have it. And this is one that I was really excited about, is this little concrete mixer that goes on the skid steer. I'm pumped about this. You can mix your concrete, and then you can just drive right up and dump it. So that's awesome. I'm definitely keeping that. Here's a rototiller that I bought at an auction. I've ran it a couple times. It works okay. It's not super user friendly, so I don't know what I'll do there. But I might sell it. Somebody's got to have a use for it. But it's cool for it. It actually worked good for the track here and there. And I got this disc. I didn't really need it, but it kind of came with the package. And interestingly enough, there's this. So this attachment right here, and it even has a PTO on it. You can see it. This attachment here is a 3-point connection, like so for a farm implement. You know, if you want to pull a disc, or if you want to put a post hole digger or something like that on your skid steer. So I'm gonna put this on the skid steer, and when I want to do some disking in some tight spaces or something, I can just put it right on here. And we actually were talking about the other day, we might take the 3-point and flip it around to the back, because that's technically how the disc is supposed to work. You're supposed to pull it, not push it. So if I spin that around, my 3-point will be on this side, and I can just set that thing down in front of me and push. And I can really, so the cool thing about the skid steer is when you're disking, you can put down pressure. And so I can force this thing down into the ground and really, really cut with it. And I know it'll come in handy, so I went ahead and added that to the trade. But what we got here is we got the mixer, we got the disc, we got 3 of these. So these mowers, I got 3 of them. We've got a brand new set of forks for the skid steer. So we always use those. I'm definitely keeping those. We got this 3-point attachment. Those are, you don't see those very often. They're pretty unique. We got the trailer. We got the float trailer. This is our float. It's an ammunition trailer. And it's good for nothing other than a float. But I thought it looked cool. If I ever got one of those deuce trucks, those deuce trucks, you pull it with that and you have a cool little setup there, you know, if for the end of the world type of thing. But my theory is get the old fire truck, you know, looking real good, and you pull it around, you pull this around with that for your float in the parade, and you're a hero. Then you're a hero. So we got 2 of these asphalt grinders. This is part of the trade. You got one there and one down there. And well, I'm not going to say they're asphalt grinders, but they are. They're definitely. You can do leveling with them. You can churn up the material. I think you can grind with them. I don't know. It might start tearing up the tips, but we won't know until we try it, right? It looks like it does about a 3 or 4 inch grind. You know, I just bust up the top of stuff. Here is 2 mowers. He's got it kind of sitting on top of there. He's gonna mess the top of that one up too, huh? But I mean, look at those big buckles on there. This thing's made to carry a heavy load, and it's got a high center of gravity. You can really you can go places with this thing. I'll make a great float. You could actually like put a skid steer with the snow blower on it in the middle, have your guys here, have them here standing, and then, you know, that pulling it with the tow truck bed, and then maybe another piece of equipment on that. That would make one heck of a showing in the parade, in my humble opinion. But again, I've been pretty long-winded in these last couple of videos, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sadie and Bud are getting hot, so we are gonna find our way back to town, and we'll be heading back to Mammoth. So look on the other channel, should be posting some new content for next week. And thank you guys for watching. Thanks for liking the videos. That really helps. It really helps, you know, get it out there. The more people that like it, other people get to see them, and then maybe they want to see what I'm doing. I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't care. But hope y'all have a blessed day, and we will see you in the near future.